you'll join the long list of fools who only understand when the clock's already run out. Life doesn't hand out second chances, not for people like us. You think the world's got a heart, don't you? You think if you scream loud enough, someone will come running. Let me tell you something, lad. No one's coming. You're on your own. Always have been. Always will be. People don't care about your struggle. Not really. They might say they do. Might throw you a few crumbs of sympathy to make themselves feel better, but when the chips are down, they'll step over your bleeding body to save their own skin. That's the truth no one wants to admit. And the sooner you face it, the stronger you'll become. But here's the thing. Strength doesn't come from words or promises. Strength comes from pain. Real pain. The kind that rips you apart, leaves you clawing at the walls, begging for it to stop. That's when you find out who you really are. Not when things are good, not when life's easy. No, it's when you're on your knees, spitting blood and swallowing your pride, that you decide whether you're a survivor or just another casualty. You think people respect weakness? They don't. They despise it. They might not say it to your face, but they'll see you struggle, and all they'll think is, better him than me. They'll pity you, sure, but pity's not respect. Pity's poison. It weakens you, makes you rely on the scraps they throw you. And that's what they want. They want you dependent, weak, easy to control. But not me. Not you either. You don't need their pity. You don't need their handouts. You need to stand up, spit in their faces, and take what's yours. Let me tell you something about loss. Loss isn't just about the people you bury. It's about the pieces of yourself you lose along the way. Your innocence, your trust, your hope. Every time someone betrays you, every time someone leaves you behind, they take a piece of you with them. And if you're not careful, you'll wake up one day and realize there's nothing left. That's why you've got to fight for yourself. No one else will. People think they've got time. That's the biggest lie of all. They think they can afford to waste it, to wait for the right moment, the perfect opportunity. But time doesn't wait for anyone. One day you're standing tall and thinking you've got it all figured out. And the next, you're 6 feet under, and the world keeps spinning without you. No one's gonna stop and mourn the time you wasted. No one's gonna care about the dreams you left undone. They'll only understand when it's too late, when you're gone, when they look back and realize you were the one holding everything together. But by then, it won't matter, will it? You'll be dust, and they'll be left with nothing but regrets. And that's the cruelest joke of all. His voice softens, but the intensity remains, cutting like a blade. You've got a choice to make. You can sit here, feeling sorry for yourself, waiting for someone to save you, Or you can get up, wipe the blood off your face, and fight. Fight for your life, for your future, for the respect you deserve. But don't do it for them. Don't do it to prove them wrong. Do it for yourself. Because at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, you're the one who's got to live with the choices you make. People will hate you for it. They'll call you selfish, ruthless, a bastard. Let them. Their opinions don't matter. What matters is that you survive. What matters is that you keep moving forward, no matter how many times you get knocked down. Because survival is its own kind of victory. And in this world, victory's all that counts. Remember this, no one's gonna hand you the life you want. You've got to take it. Steal it if you have to. And if they try to stop you, well, you do what needs to be done. Because in the end, it's not about being liked or loved or even remembered. It's about surviving. It's about winning. And you can't win if you're too afraid to fight. So what's it gonna be, eh? You gonna sit here, waiting for the world to chew you up and spit you out? Or are you gonna stand up, face it head on, and show them what you're made of? The choice is yours. But don't take too long to decide. Time waits for no one. Remember? Silence feels heavy, almost unbearable. But within it, a spark ignites. A fire. The kind that can't be extinguished. The kind that drives a man to rise, to fight, to survive. And as the weight of his words settles, you realize he's right. They'll only understand when it's too late. But by then you'll be long gone, standing on the ashes of everything they said you couldn't achieve. You think this is a game. You think you've got all the time in the world to figure it out. Let me tell you something about life. It doesn't wait for you to get your head on straight. It doesn't stop and give you a breather because you're tired or unsure. No, it just keeps coming, relentless as a bloody storm. You either learn to weather it or you drown. Simple as that. Look at me. Go on, take a good, hard look. You see these scars? Each one tells a story. Not one of victory or glory, but of survival. Every cut, every bruise. It's a lesson. A reminder that the world doesn't care about your pain. You either learn from it, or it breaks you. And let me tell you something, lad. Broken people don't survive. They're left behind, forgotten, trampled under the boots of those strong enough to carry on. But here's the real kicker. Strength isn't born from winning. It's forged in loss, in failure, in betrayal. You think you've been betrayed before? You haven't seen anything yet. The people closest to you, the ones you die for, they're the ones who'll hurt you the most. Not because they want to, but because they can. Because you let them. Trust. Trust is the sharpest blade of all. Give it to the wrong person, and it'll cut you deeper than anything you've ever known. And when they cut you, when they leave you bleeding, don't you dare lie down and die. Don't you dare give them the satisfaction of seeing you broken. Stand up. Stand tall. Wipe the blood from your face and look them in the eye as if to say, is that all you've got? Because in the end, that's what terrifies people the most. Not your pain, not your anger, but your refusal to quit. Your ability to keep going, no matter how much they throw at you. And don't think for a second that life will ever give you a break. It won't. You'll fight one battle, only to find another waiting right behind it. That's the nature of this world. It's a war, and you've got to be ready to fight every single day. But here's the thing about war. It doesn't just kill you. It changes you. It strips away everything you thought you were until all that's left is the truth. The bare, unflinching truth of who you really are. Do you know who you are? No. Don't answer that. Because the truth is, you don't. Not yet. You've got this image in your head. This idea of the person you think you're supposed to be. But let me tell you something. That person doesn't exist. Not really. He's just a figment of your imagination. A mask you wear to make the world think you've got it all together. But when the world strips that mask away, when it tears you down to your core, that's when you'll see the truth. And it won't be pretty. It won't be what you want to see, but it'll be real. And in the end, that's all that matters. You've got to stop waiting for someone to save you. Stop waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity, because it doesn't exist. There's no such thing as the right time. There's only now, this moment. And if you waste it, you'll regret it for the rest of your life. Trust me, I know. I've spent more nights than I care to count, lying awake, haunted by the ghosts of what could have been. But ghosts don't change anything. Regret doesn't change anything. Action does. You want to know the secret to surviving in this world? It's not about being the strongest or the smartest. It's about being relentless, unstoppable. The kind of person who gets knocked down 100 times, but gets back up 101. The kind of person who doesn't stop until they've taken everything they've ever wanted, and more. Because that's what it takes. That's what this world demands. Relentlessness. Ruthlessness. The willingness to do whatever it takes to win. And don't fool yourself into thinking you can do it for anyone else. You've got to do it for you. Not for your family, not for your friends, not for some noble cause, for you. Because at the end of the day, you're the one who's got to live with yourself. You're the one who's got to look in the mirror and face the person staring back at you. And if you don't like what you see, well, no one else is going to fix that for you. So here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna stand up. You're gonna stop feeling sorry for yourself. You're gonna stop waiting for life to hand you something it never will. You're gonna take every ounce of pain, every scrap of betrayal, every single moment that tried to break you, and you're gonna use it, turn it into fuel, let it burn so hot inside you that it makes you unstoppable. Because that's the only way you win. Not by waiting, not by hoping, by taking. You think the people who make it to the top got there by being kind? By being patient? By waiting their turn? No. They clawed, they fought, they bled for every inch. They didn't ask for permission. They took what was theirs. And that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna look at this world, at everyone who ever doubted you, who ever underestimated you, and you're gonna show them exactly who the hell you are. But let me warn you, it won't be easy. It'll be the hardest thing you've ever done. There'll be days when you feel like you can't go on, when the weight of everything threatens to crush you. You'll want to give up, to crawl back into the shadows and let the world pass you by. But you can't. Not if you want to survive. Not if you want to win. Because giving up, that's what they expect you to do. They're counting on it. Every person who's ever written you off. Every person who's ever said you weren't good enough. They're waiting for you to fail. They're watching, hoping you'll prove them right. And you know what? That's exactly why you can't give them the satisfaction. That's exactly why you've got to keep going, no matter what. And don't you dare make excuses. Don't you dare blame the world, or your circumstances, or anyone else for where you are right now. Because the truth is, no one cares. No one's coming to save you, and no one's going to fix your life for you. If you want something, you've got to fight for it. If you want respect, you've got to earn it. If you want power, you've got to take it. That's the way it works. That's the way it's always worked. And I'll tell you something else. The moment you stop caring what other people think, the moment you stop living for their approval, is the moment you become truly dangerous. Because when you're not tied down by their opinions, when you're not shackled by their expectations, there's nothing they can do to stop you. You become unstoppable. And that's exactly what you need to be. You've got to understand something, lad. Life is short. Too short to waste on fear or doubt, or waiting for the perfect moment. Because that moment will never come. The only time you've got is now. This moment. And if you waste it, you'll regret it for the rest of your life. Trust me, I know what regret feels like. I've felt it every day since the war, since the choices I made, since the people I lost. But you don't have to. You can choose to fight. You can choose to rise. And when you do, when you finally stand up and take control of your life, they'll notice, oh, they'll notice. All right. The people who doubted you, who dismissed you, they'll start to see you in a different light. But by then, it won't matter, will it? Because you won't need their approval. You won't need their validation. You'll have something far more valuable. Respect. Not theirs. Yours. Self-respect. The knowledge that you fought, that you didn't give up, that you earned your place in this world. But no mistake. They'll only understand when it's too late. When you've already won. When you've already left them behind. And that's fine. Let them catch up when they can. Let them regret underestimating you. You don't need their understanding, their apologies, their explanations. All you need is to keep moving forward. Because that's what it means to be alive. To keep going no matter what. So, what's it gonna be? Are you gonna sit here, feeling sorry for yourself, waiting for life to hand you something it never will? Or are you gonna stand up, look the world in the eye, and take what's yours? Because if you don't, someone else will. And if you think this world owes you something, you're dead wrong. The only thing it owes you is the chance to fight. And that chance, lad, it's right here, right now. You think I've said all I need to say? Think I've told you enough to light a fire under you? No. I haven't even begun to cut deep yet. Sit there, sit still and listen. Because what I'm about to say might be the last bit of truth you hear before the world swallows you whole. You've got this image in your head, this illusion that life works out for those who wait. Maybe you've heard that patience is a virtue. Maybe they told you that hard work alone is enough. That if you stay in line, someone will notice you. Well, let me tell you something about waiting. It's a slow death. Waiting is for people who don't understand the game. Life isn't a bloody waiting room. It's a battlefield. And on a battlefield, you don't survive by sitting still and hoping someone spares you. You survive by taking the fight to them. I've seen men die with their hopes still clenched in their fists. Do you know what they were waiting for? A sign, a miracle, some magical moment where the stars align and everything becomes clear. But let me tell you something about signs. They don't come. You've got to make your own. You've got to stop hoping the universe will give you what you need. And take it. Rip it out of its hands if you have to. Because no one is going to give you a damn thing. But here's the truth, and it's gonna hurt. Even when you fight, even when you give everything you've got, it still might not be enough. Life doesn't play fair. You could pour your blood, sweat, and soul into something, and it might still fall apart. That's the reality of this world. It's cruel, unrelenting, and it doesn't give a damn about your dreams, But that doesn't mean you stop. It doesn't mean you quit, because quitting isn't an option. You think you're tired now. You think you've reached your limit. You haven't even scratched the surface of what you're capable of. Your body will scream. Your mind will beg you to stop. But you've got to keep pushing. Because the moment you give in, the moment you let the pain win, is the moment you lose everything. You're not here to exist. You're here to dominate, to leave a mark so deep, so unshakable, that even after you're gone, they'll still feel your presence. But that doesn't come easy. It doesn't come without sacrifice. You'll lose things, people, trust, maybe even parts of yourself. And that's the price you've got to be willing to pay. Because nothing worth having comes without a cost. Let me ask you something. What are you willing to lose? What are you willing to give up to get where you need to be? If your answer is anything less than everything, then you're not ready. Not yet. But if you can look me in the eye and tell me you're willing to lose it all, your comfort, your safety, your very soul, then maybe, just maybe, you've got a chance. And let me tell you another thing about people. They'll laugh at you. They'll mock your dreams, call you crazy, tell you it's impossible. That's their way of masking their own fear, their own failures. They see you trying, and it reminds them of everything they're too scared to do. So they'll try to drag you down, keep you at their level, because the thought of you rising terrifies them. And you know what you do when that happens. You let them laugh. Let them mock. And then, when you've climbed higher than they ever thought possible, you look down and you smile, not out of kindness, not out of forgiveness, but out of satisfaction. Satisfaction that you didn't let their fear become your cage. But don't ever expect them to understand. They won't. Not until it's too late. Not until you've left them behind, standing in the ruins of their own mediocrity, while you've built something unstoppable. And by then, their understanding won't matter. Their apologies, their admiration, it'll all be meaningless, because you'll have already won. You'll have proven them wrong, not with words, but with action, with results. And here's the hardest part. You've got to do this alone. Oh, they'll pretend to support you at first. They'll cheer for you when it's convenient, when it costs them nothing. But the moment your success starts to outshine them, the moment your ambition becomes a threat, they'll turn on you. Don't hate them for it. It's human nature. People fear what they can't control, what they can't understand. And a man like you, relentless, unyielding, that's the kind of man they'll never understand. But don't let their fear become yours. Don't let their doubts creep into your mind. You've got to be stronger than that. Stronger than them. Because this world doesn't belong to the weak or the hesitant. It belongs to the bold, the ruthless, the ones willing to do whatever it takes. And if you're not willing to be that person, then step aside. Make room for someone who is. But if you are, if you're ready to rise, to fight, to bleed, then prove it. Not to me, not to them, to yourself. Because at the end of the day, that's the only person who matters. That's the only person you've got to answer to. So ask yourself, are you ready to be the man who takes what's his, who builds his own destiny with his bare hands? Or are you going to let this world chew you up and spit you out like it's done to so many others before you?